Welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome as well. And if you're wondering what the show is about, it's entirely dedicated to improving quality of life through liberation and independence, moving you from surviving to thriving and living life raw. Today I have my mom, Mother Strega. Mama Strega's coming to us, and we just did a podcast in my mobile studio, my F-350 pickup truck. This time we were parked at a park with no background noise as far as the engine humming, so got a little better audio quality for you guys today. But this is episode 171, and today we wanted to talk to you guys about Mama Strega's experiences of getting rid of all of her stuff and just living out of a backpack, basically. And we kind of wanted to go on an angle today of how these changes, the Great Recession, or this recession that's possibly coming, I think it's here, the Great Reset, and all these problematic things that we have. We're trying to tackle these things as much as possible right now because that seems like to be the topic that most people want to hear about. But today we're going to talk to an individual who just got rid of everything, man, and just lives talk about minimalism. We just want to make you guys feel good and inspire you guys to know that a lot of the changes that may come sometimes happen for the better. And that life isn't actually so bad and so hard, going down to just flat square zero. Sometimes this is a blessing in disguise. As we say a lot on the show, it's all perspective. So we're going to talk to somebody who's actually doing real life people. As I say, we're not millionaires, we're not billionaires. I consider myself a thousandaire. My mom is just basically a nothingaire. She just goes straight up simple. So we want to make you guys feel better, get you guys into the groove of things, of change, and give you guys different examples. And she's definitely a different example of what's going on out there. And I hope you enjoy the show. So before I forget, though, this is a potty mouth podcast, so viewer and listener discretion is advised. And I think that's about it. Let's just jump into the show. So hope you enjoy. Without further ado, Mama Strega, here we go.
You're here.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too. It's not just a fantasy.
Well, you got rid of all your stuff, most of your possessions, right?
Yeah, including the car. That was the last thing I got rid of was a car. Don't have a car anymore.
I wanted to kind of come at this at an angle and get your story on getting rid of all your stuff. So many people are losing their shit, their things right now. And we were just talking a minute ago how in the recession of 2008 you met some people where you said that was the best thing that ever happened to them.
Yeah, they
changed their lives for the better.
Their lives, simplified, realized they didn't want to have that big old mortgage payment. They were now renting.
Yeah.
You know, like older couple that were working towards retirement and lost all that stuff, got different jobs, simpler jobs, moved into a little cottage and rented it, and they're like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
We're relaxed. We're actually enjoying each other's company more. We're doing more hobbies, great.
Well, a lot of people are afraid to lose their shit. They're thinking, I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to lose everything. And
obviously that can't happen.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people it is going to happen.
The whole question always is, first of all, what do you have? How did you get it? And what would losing it mean? And there are many ways to lose things. It didn't have to be, COVID and everything else. There are many ways to lose things by getting ill or a death or divorce or, whatever.
Yeah, besides a recession or COVID, I mean, we could have not to freak people out, but a comet could hit.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying that is it's something you should be prepared for regardless of what is going on with your society, and the economics.
Yeah.
Is that, a lot of things could bring that about. So in terms of considering your possessions as such security, not so much. I mean, I highly suggest to people, if you have to have a house, is get an older used motorhome and have it always ready.
Yep. Yeah.
And get used to start going out, venturing out. If you're older or you've just never done much camping or anything like that, venture out so you have an option and start seeing what that feels like.
But you didn't even have to have an option, or you just decided to do this way before this whole COVID thing and everything.
Yeah. Yep.
So what led you to just get rid of all your shit? I mean, first of all, what do you own right now?
Right now, I own a phone.
Yeah.
I have a phone and a laptop and a TV, as far as anything of economic worth, value in our society. Other than that, just the basics, some old clothes and blankets and just really basic needs.
some little tiny cookware. I think you got a little tiny pressure cooker, and
all stuff I could easily leave behind if I needed to.
if you had to consolidate everything you have, how big of a space do you think it'd occupy?
It depends on what my traveling situation would be. If I have to carry everything on my back,
Yeah,
it'd be just backpack.
but right now you have just
Some art materials. I'd say that everything I own right now would fit in the typical backseat or trunk of a car. Everything I own.
everything.
Yeah, and there'd still be room to move.
How does that feel?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I did it. I mean, and background on that is okay. So I used to own, houses, always owned houses and businesses and made excellent money. Boat and motorhome and the nice house with the jacuzzi and built-in pool with a big shop. Had all that stuff. Everything money could buy, the fancy vacations. Wasn't making me happy.
And now, how's your happiness? Seems like it's way, way better.
Yeah, life's an adventure now.
You're more free to move around. And
I'm also single.
yeah.
I'm also happily single and permanently single, so that helps. I can
just rub it in.
just do what I want, when I want, how I want. I don't have to deal with anybody else's thing.
No, I'm in the same boat. That's what I look at. I wouldn't trade this for the world.
Yeah.
Although it does get lonely, sometimes, but I don't even know what that even means. But
I was married and had people all around me and felt lonely at times. So what it means is, unless you're your own good company, then I mean, it's fun to be by yourself and just go off and do whatever you want to do, see what you want to see, especially if you are the kind of person that knows how to play music and do art and learn things, read. I mean, having phones and the internet is the best. It's gotten more and more available now where, I learned to live without it for a long time when it wasn't available. But now that it is available, I can still keep watching my how-to YouTube videos and things like that, little mini computer. Keep in touch with people through Facebook and other social media, so your friends and family always know where you are if you're traveling, or just to say hello.
yeah, that's so crazy how much stress that we think that we have to have all this stuff, and it's just when it comes down to it. I mean, I've never got rid of everything like you've down to your level. Like, where's this down to straight up a backpack?
Yeah, well, I mean, and being an older person, the kids are grown, raised all the kids in the family, so it's not like, and again, single, so I can do that. People are quite accommodating if you trade for work, go and stay in places, trade for work, so I'm always working. I'm never not working.
Yeah.
I don't always work for cash or money. Mostly work in trade for a place to stay for a while or whatever I need. But the whole point of materialism and owning a home and having that high mortgage payment and all the other stuff is that there's always, for me anyway, in the back of your head is that someday it's going to need to be replaced. So insure it, take good care of it, make it last as long as you can. But someday it's going to need to be replaced, and some things are high-end, like vehicles and refrigerators and appliances and things like that.
And that's what's nice, the position
Stress.
you're in. The biggest one is your shoes. Yeah, I have to replace my shoes and my backpack, I think.
Yeah, I think my phone would be my biggest concern about a replacement. I've had my same phone for I had my car for 16 years. And I had actually no intention of really getting rid of it, but that was an auto mechanic who fucked it up, helped me with that. Thank you, auto mechanic. Which is actually the way I look at it. I probably would have never been without a car, because that was the one thing, you travel, but now I'm on foot.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, be able to walk there and carry things on your back. You get exercise, you get to see things when you walk that you would never see. And traveling by train and everything, it's like, when I sit and think about what it costs me to travel on a train somewhere, I'm like, how much would it cost you just to have a car?
Oh, yeah.
For 1 month, your insurance, saving for license, registration, insurance, the cost of fuel and oil, all those things. It's like, and I just get on a train for much less than that and go see someone or go move to a new place.
Yeah, train, you just came from San Diego to here. What did it cost you on a train or the bus?
From inner San Diego, which is Santee, to get to San Diego proper, and then where you're at was about $21.
Yeah.
But because I get a senior discount too.
That's like gas?
Less than gas, really. Because it's not just gas. Everything is wearing down. You're driving, your tires are wearing down, and your brakes, and like I said, I've always had a car, so this is nice. It's a pain sometimes in certain ways.
Yeah, you got to have a lot more patience, I'd imagine.
Well, in going through change, you can freak out about the fact that you no longer have something, whatever it is you're looking at. But you can also get excited about what would you replace it with. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that's really a powerful thing to do, is sit and imagine yourself. If I didn't have this, what would my alternatives be?
Yeah.
And I still say, living situation, one of the biggest alternatives is people getting together and, creating a living situation.
Yeah, I think
Everybody
as well.
calm it down and rent a big place together, and hopefully a property with some land.
Yeah.
And start living the way the world has been for thousands of years and the way the rest of the world has lived forever.
That seems like the old ways are starting to come back to replace the technology. We think we're so smart with the technology, but that's where I see it going right now. Like I said, I couldn't even check in the hotel room. They couldn't manually give me a key. Couldn't manually put down my name. You know, maybe it's just the incompetency of the employees.
Just didn't want to.
Yeah.
There's that.
But I do see that as they just had a thing in Florida, a small town, where somebody hacked the water district, and they were leaching out more of the chemicals, so much chemicals where people could actually have died, and somebody caught it. So luckily they didn't disperse that. So from a computer, they were able to manipulate the computerize the automated systems of the drinking water.
No, we all have known that. I mean, you just take one drone, fly over, and a drone can be made of materials where it looks like it's all reflective. You wouldn't even be able to see it unless the sunlight shines off it. Just have it drop something into the municipal water, dam or whatever. And
But you never know what's going to happen. When I look at this, a lot of people have laughed or looked at us like we're losers, and well, they continue to, but that's not the point.
And they're not entirely wrong.
They're not entirely wrong. But we're in probably the best position at this time if shit hits the fan than most people around us. We just pick up and go.
Well, yeah, and that's like one of the things that I've been doing lately is, as I was telling you earlier, is making bread by hand. I don't grind the flour. I've done that before plenty, but I don't grind the flour, but I make Vegemite out of white flour and whole wheat bread, and just everything from scratch by hand. I have a nice big rock mortar and pestle. That's my food processor. Grind all, and using a lot of herbs and spices for medicines. But I'm not talking about making a medicine out. I'm talking about preventative medicine, like mixing all this lovely, beautiful chemistry together in your teas, and a lot of it is Indian Ayurveda. Because that's my thought, is I don't need health insurance. I need to be my own health insurance and take good care of myself and enjoy the beauty of my life. And that's what simplifying has allowed me to do, is to rejoin the beauty of my life, so that I'm not always so busy that it just all goes right by me.
And doesn't that make sense where, like for me, where a lot of people are busy trying to save money or paying their rents and paying all this stuff, where they're letting their health go and their spirituality and everything, where it's like our overhead is so low, but we're investing in eating good, organic, healthy foods and fresh foods, and you're having to walk to the store every time you need to go grocery shopping. You're getting exercise, and just the amount of stress, the amount of stress level that I look at as minimal. Yes, there's a lot of things that we don't have. A nice, like for you, a car just to get up and go drive to the mountains or the beach. Something you got to take the bus, but damn, sometimes the stress level, I think, is you weigh it apples to apples.
Definitely. Well, and someone might sit there and go, "Wow, that's harsh. That'd be terrible to not have my car to go get my groceries and everything." What you do is you figure out how it all works, and you look at it. I look at it as, again, all the money I'm saving, and I'm getting exercise, so it's double duty. Plus, I take my time when I walk. I'm not on anybody else's clock, so I'm just kind of walking, wave to some people, notice some flowers, pet a dog, see a kitty. You know what I mean? It's like, look at the mountains if they're, whatever's within view. Look at the clouds and really enjoy the act of walking. Enjoy all of it. So life takes on a whole new meaning at that time, a whole new significance, and the way you enjoy the things you have, by having less, you really enjoy them because you're so much more careful about what you buy, because there's really nowhere to put it. I've had people offer me all kinds of wonderful things, and I, thank you so much, but I really don't want stuff. In fact, that's what I'll do. Who was asking me of my winter clothes? I'm like, yeah, after winter's done, I'll probably just get rid of them and Just have my summer clothes, and then next winter comes along, thrift store, or people kick down things all the time. That's another thing I think people need to get a new viewpoint, is looking down on people who don't live like them. You know, I've done things like clean a garage out for someone, in exchange they've given me some clothes and blankets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I needed. So I got everything I need. I've always gotten everything I needed without ever having to hassle about it, and there's love attached.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a blanket, here's a this, or, you know, whatever.
I think going back what we said earlier, I think this is good for people to lose
Absolutely.
everything. I think the terror in their minds that of all this shit's going to hit the fan. Oh my God! I think that it's going to ground people back. Because I think that's the perfect way to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've been on a nice free ride, and you know, I don't want to beat myself up or people, but I'm like, you've been on a fucking vacation, man.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about the economy. Everything's going to stay the same. You know, I go to work 9 to 5, and then that's it. And then I go sleep, and then now there's a huge disruption in everything.
Everything, yeah.
And I think it's a good disruption, because really, when you think about this, we've had way harder times in the human's history, so-called told history, written history, but this ain't nothing. We haven't hit. I mean, not to say it can't hit a lot worse and bad things can happen, but the ones that survive, I think, are the ones, you know, it comes from within, as you and I say all the time. I think if you got your mindset and you've been working on yourself, your spirituality, your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, everything, you should be able to handle anything. I think everybody's going to be just, like we said, I think they'll be better than fine. They'll actually probably be way better off.
Well, those are your choices. You can make it better, you can make it worse. But I mean, when you have the time and less involvement in the stuff of your life, you spend more time noticing how you live in your body, for example, how you get up and down, how you carry yourself, how you protect your joints and your muscles, how you sleep, positions, everything. You start noticing everything. You start naturally taking better care of yourself, eating healthier, you know. So it's like win-win no matter what you're doing. It's win-win. Plus there's, you know, all that you thought was so secure. Having the house and the car and the kids and the wife and the dogs and the, you know, all that.
How about the little things? Mine was the taking a shit. And it sounds gross, sounds stupid.
Why everybody does
it. But it was a huge awakening for me. Yes, taking a shit. And I'm sitting there, I didn't shit this morning. I usually shit. I shit every day. Mm-hmm. Something must be wrong with me. Maybe your fucking body, you ate some foods or your body's not feeling like it today, maybe it'll shit. Is that so weird?
Yeah.
And then where's the inner dialogue? Because, well, that's inconvenient because I don't want to have to shit in my back of my truck in my porta potty, or I have to stop at a restaurant. So let's squeeze this stuff out so we can get, you know, how much we don't even listen to our own bodies.
And that's what causes a lot of damage. I've learned over the years, what causes a lot of damage is either ignoring things and putting it off, taking a shit, for example.
Yeah.
And it weakens your system over time. And then you're also just disconnected.
Yeah.
If you stop and really pay attention, your body will tell you what it needs. And when it says go do that.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it does that, instead of compacting everything to the point where now you start wiping yourself out, you know, with hemorrhoids, and then once those happen, then they start bleeding, open wounds and shit right next to them. Not a good combo. Now we've got colon cancer. So it starts, every single illness started somewhere.
Yeah.
In a very simplistic way, and usually it's ignoring it because you're young and you think, oh, nothing's ever going to happen to me. I'm young. I'll be like this forever.
The only thing I'd like to say is don't listen to the body when you're going to bump uglies and make a bunch of babies. Like, let's just, even though your body's saying yes, just tell it no. Just at least pull out every once in a while. So we're not
well, you know, really, when you break it down, it's not even really the body that's saying, it's the mind.
Yeah.
We can go into the psychology of that for hours.
You know, doesn't it sometimes seem like it's a fantasy of mine, and I don't think it would really work out this way, but I hope, like, what if the whole entire system just came down? That shit just hit the fucking fan, and we're all sitting there in little plywood pallet huts with fires and groups around us, and we're all foraging, and like, I mean, that sounds oversimplified, but I think people would pull their stuff together. Yeah. But can you imagine where all of this shit that we thought so important, both the mom and the papa have to work, and everybody's in debt. And what if everything just got erased and we went right back to just simple living where it's just food, shelter, water, protection, I would say would be one of them, you know, from people. But I think that a big giant group of people, the kids would have fun.
Oh, kids love that stuff. Are you kidding? And that's the thing. I've actually noticed the breakdown right now of our societal thing pressure's been so hard, and the wonderful thing I've been experiencing recently in the last couple of weeks is people are getting much more friendly and warm because everything we just went through, and like in places now where you're able to not wear a mask all the time. I was at Venice Beach and nobody was wearing masks and stuff, and these people are smiling a lot more and actually looking at each other, acknowledging each other, So you can either go into social breakdown where people want to commit suicide over it, or you go into where people, wow, you know what? Because I couldn't be around people, I really appreciate them.
Yeah.
That might only last about 5 minutes before they all start killing each other. But never know.
We're not talking about that today.
It's a whole different podcast.
Well, what prompted you initially, fuck it, man, I'm going to get rid of everything? Did you get to like a boiling point, or like what happened where you're just like, you know what, I'm done?
I've been planning for this my whole life, actually. Learning foreign languages, speak quite a few languages, and learning every skill I could possibly get my hands on. I can cook, I can do massage, I can deliver babies, I did acrylic nails, all kinds of construction, like you name it, anywhere I go. This is what I've always wanted to do, was just travel around and just work for a little bit and then take time off, and work for a little bit, take time off. COVID really messed that up a lot. I was doing really well before COVID hit, and then after, because generally I go somewhere and live there and get a job, sometimes get a room to rent or a place to barter maintenance or work on it, and to stay for a couple months. But with COVID, it's like nobody was doing anything.
Yeah.
So that really put the kibosh on a lot, but it didn't stop me. I mean, I've been doing a lot more inner searching and still continue to learn a lot, and still traveling.
Yeah.
Social distancing is actually pretty cool. Just trying to read my damn book. But most of it was just, I've been doing this for decades and going, this is the weight of this. I ended up hospitalized over stress when I thought I was taking good care of myself. I was going to the gym and juicing and eating mostly vegetarian and all that stuff, but the stress just got me and ended up hospitalized.
What would you say to somebody if they said, if you had any advice on somebody getting started or even remotely thinking, like, I want to get rid of all my shit? Like, what do you think they should do? It's like, just get rid of your shit.
I think the first thing is make a list of everything that you own, and then go through that list. If you need to take this much time, go through that list and put a star or some sort of a mark on all the things that you simply cannot live without. And then start making lists of absolute yes, absolute no, and then the maybes. And then little by little, where, start getting rid of things.
Kind of like...
Or even just put it away for a while and see how you live without it.
If you even remember it's there.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that psychology book called Clutter No More. Such a great book, and that's what he said. He's like, get your box. Yes, no, and maybe. When the maybe is full, tape it shut, put it somewhere until you forget what's in it, and then don't open it. Just give it to the thrift store.
Man, if I was hitting it on foot, I'd get those new boots they have now. They're built really well. I looked at it as like a pair of tires. They're like super lightweight, like not even a pound. Yeah. Because I'd imagine just like an extra pound of weight on your feet when you're walking.
Yeah.
1,000 million times of you lifting or carrying.
Yeah.
I'd have a really good backpack. I already own one. Yeah. So I'm already prepared for that shit too if it comes. But I've got the Cadillac. I think I paid like $360. It's rainproof. It's got a place for your cell phone. It's got pockets around where it goes around your waist. It's got the air circulation for your back and shit like that.
Well, I mean, when you say that, what advice would you give? That's just way too general a question, because how old are you? What is your life like? What do you own? Where do you come from? It's the reason why I see why people who come from other countries are able to come in and do our shit work, Mexican people and everybody else, is that this is an improvement. Mm-hmm. Doing our shit work is an improvement compared to what they come from, and we have no idea, most of us. We've never even done our own work.
Well, I could see some stuff that's universal, like carry yourself, like one of mine, I've never heard anybody say, is carry yourself 2 mirrors. And in case you ever hurt your back or something, you can use one mirror in the front of your face and then look behind you to see what happened if you ever had like a thorn or a cut, to see how severe it is. But just little things like that, like a little first aid kit. I'd say some aspirin, you got some Neosporin in case you really cut yourself. Just a couple little things, some duct tape and...
Well, it depends on who you are and what your plan is. I mean, like I suggest, if you don't get on YouTube and watch all these different videos that people can show you how to survive in the wild, to what to take if you're an urban person or rural person, your bug out box, what would it have in it? And like they have this thing where they're making these awesome little kits for urban people in an Altoids box.
Yeah.
They'll show you stuff that you never thought you would need, you know, and like things that double, you know, have a dime in there, you know, so that you can use it like a screwdriver and, you know, just stuff that you wouldn't think of. And to me, that's just like a little hobby kind of thing. That's not like real, that's not the real deal. But as you were saying about, you know, how the weight of shoes is the same thing. If you ended up with just a backpack, it doesn't sound like much. Every ounce counts.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if you end up like hiking through mountains and stuff and you end up in inclement weather, like you want to research that stuff, and there's no excuse not to, because there's every kind of YouTube video of survivalist stuff you can possibly imagine and more. But like I said, if you're a city person, you know, start spending some time outdoors. Go camping maybe for the first time in your life, or know what your net worth is.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you should sell that house before you lose it. I mean, like my house, when I got rid of my house, I owned it. And it's like I took a loss on it because I knew I needed to get out of the area, and I knew certain things about it that, you know, it was not really easily financed by a bank.
Yeah.
So all the particulars I knew, I reduced the price to say, look, you just take it as is cash, and I'm out. You know, so it's like you understand what your value is on that level, like. And if you walk away from it, entirely walk away from it, what are you walking away from?
Yeah.
Now you start getting down to basics of just putting shit in a backpack. It's like, oh, well, you better plan for that.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm sitting tight where I'm at. I'm living in the city right now. I'm not loving it, but, you know, living in the city and bartering, having a room and stuff, and, you know, use of a couple shelves in the fridge and freezer and everything. I'm bartering for house cleaning and elderly care, basically, till, you know, winter's over, and see where I go from there.
See what this COVID thing does, huh?
Exactly. I've had to lay low and barter like that, and not really able to work. But I make every penny count. I don't spend like most people spend.
You know, how was, you said you just came from Venice?
Mm-hmm. Venice Beach.
Did you guys sleep on the beach over there, or no?
No. Oh, no, there's nowhere to sleep on the beach in Venice.
But I heard different, that it was just homeless people everywhere, tents everywhere. It was just shit just everywhere. Like it's turning into an insane asylum.
It probably, portions of it probably are still like that. But, I mean, we didn't go, we walked and spent time on the beach. But probably when you get more inland from the ocean, Venice Beach is probably like that. But I didn't see anything like that.
Yeah. No, I heard like on the sand, and you're saying there was like, no, you guys had the beach all to yourself?
All to ourselves, yeah.
Wow. How was San Diego beaches?
It's great.
Yeah.
No problem. Hung out with actually the homeless people and kids and stuff. So there was live music and baton twirling and people selling
live music.
Yeah.
You always keep the good shit.
People selling jewelry and yeah, it was fun. Everybody just hanging out, met a bunch of new people, got some things gifted to me for no particular reason, just beautiful gems, rocks and things like that. And then watched the sunset and just sat watching the beautiful California ocean. Can't beat that.
I know.
Yeah, we slept in a Walmart parking lot one night in the car.
How was it?
Oh, Walmart parking lot's always fine. You just go into Walmart and use the facilities in the morning and maybe grab a few groceries or whatever you need and hit the road. It's that life that's not for everybody, but works for me. I mean, I don't do it all the time like that. That's like rare. But I like the idea of knowing I could do it if I had to.
Yeah, that's good that you had the experience. I think a lot of people would be terrified to start to do something like that.
Well, I mean, I've slept in my own car. Plenty. All different situations, Walmart parking lots. This is being with a friend, not having a car now, and the thing is, she slept with me in my car many times, so the whole thing is reversed now.
Well, lots of openness and lots of adventure.
Yeah.
I think if we always turn this shit around and look at it more as an adventure, like, okay, you got fucking lemons, what the fuck are you gonna do? Mm-hmm. Here's what this position you've got. Here's a position you've helped to put yourself in, and may not like it right now, but what are we going to do?
Well, you have to be kind and gentle with yourself, I believe, is, the last thing you need to do is clobber yourself about anything. And especially if stuff is shit's hitting the fan, you're not the only one.
Yeah.
This is a global situation, and just avoid the panic, avoid the news for one. Find the right things to listen to, the right things to learn from, because it's like everybody's got a spin. I mean, one of the reasons I think people are freaking out is like, yeah, a lot of shit has happened before in our human history, but never did we have live news available to you right now, globally.
Yeah.
Right now, you can know what's happening in Uganda or Sweden or, Australia, whatever.
And maybe, just maybe, a little bit of the truth being tweaked and being exaggerated on social media and everything to freak you the fuck out.
Well, weird things like those fires in Australia. A lot of people didn't know that those fires have raged forever in Australia. Australia needs those fires, but the fires burnt more vehemently because of bad, they didn't take care of things. They didn't clear undergrowth and all that. But what was interesting was watching a documentary about mushrooms, and they were showing there's this one particular mushroom that only exists in the forests of Australia and only comes out after a fire.
Yeah.
And the next day after the fire,
oh, wow.
that mushroom was out and growing, and so they tested it, and what it did is it already started changing the pH of the soil and making it ready to grow.
Yeah.
And that's only the beginning of the last time fire raged in the area where they tested. That was 100 years ago, and they said it will sit there for 100 years in the soil just waiting for a fire so it can grow.
Talk about resiliency.
Magic. Exactly, and that's what I'm trying to say, is sometimes what you see as a disaster, look a little deeper, like the whole COVID thing, look a little deeper. What if for you, and only look at your own life, what if for you, you're that mushroom where you're like, that mushroom would have never grown and bloomed had it not been for the fire.
I like a 50-50 of that, of like, the magic just happened. I believe in the magic, but I also believe you can position yourself and do certain things in your life to not get sick, as you said, like to eat good food, get exercise, and properly keep your mind sane. So a lot of things you could do, and a lot of things that happen where, to force you to pivot and have to change into stuff that you never would have thought possible. I just see isn't it just seems sometimes like all there is opportunity, really. There's no such thing as failure or a bunch of shit. There's always a problem, like you said with this mushroom. A flame comes, new mushrooms born. Like if you look at it from the right perspective, everything is an opportunity. Everything,
right? Every person you meet, and every moment, every second of your life. There's so much more. Life is so much more in depth than you could possibly imagine, but if you're too busy caught up in this world, you won't even notice or remember. It's the old Dorothy, you could have gone home any time, but you would never believe me if I told you.
And I see it as just the untrained mind. Or maybe let's just say the trained mind.
Right, overtrained.
You've been trained, and you've had to memorize and look at a bunch of shit. And my favorite part about this, not that I want people to suffer or anything. My favorite part, though, is us talking shit our entire lives about the system, asking questions, doing things different. And what better time right now than to solidify what it is, many of the things that we've spoke about and we've stood against, that this whole system is full of shit. And now the system is presenting itself. Nobody had to do anything. It's collapsing in from itself, its own. It never even had any infrastructure.
Yeah, it's running out of steam because it is. Of all movies I watched a couple weeks ago was Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
That moment when Toto pulls the curtain back and the great and powerful wizard's just this little dude all scared as shit himself. Yeah. Just pulling levers and pushing buttons like, the great and powerful Oz. That's what, seeing that when I was a kid, it's like, I've got a pretty good idea that's what pretty much every ology is, and pretty much every single thing that we think is a solid thing, like science, I'm pretty sure it's all that.
So I'm sure it hurts for a lot of people, but I look at this as an opportunity. It's a blessing in disguise, because now what are we going to replace everything with? We just have to wait. I think right now we just have to wait till everything crumbles. It's cracking right now, and it's starting to crumble. We're having earthquakes. The building is coming down.
Yeah, all the signs are
completely. There. But when it does, or whatever happens, we will rebuild. But this time we have an opportunity. What are we going to replace that with? Right. Or are you going to choose to go right back to the same shit?
Well, and also just going, if this change of this magnanimity was necessary, this is the only way it could be brought down, would be something like this, a global catastrophe, a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like I said, if anybody, I don't care who they are. I mean, I always knew they could do this.
Yeah.
They could create it. Not saying they did or didn't. That's neither here nor there. It doesn't matter. But we've always known that a pandemic is possible.
Yeah.
We also know through our own history, you know, I know, how do you get rid of Native Americans? And you give them some smallpox-infested blankets.
Yeah.
Like, here's a present. And throw you some sandwiches in it. You know? So we've always known there's germ warfare. And again, that goes deeper, deeper, deeper too. So basically, it's like there's never been any secure moment, folks, on any level. So the most important thing is be the best you could be the happiest you could be. Find out what that means and run with it. You know, show more love to yourself first and everybody around you. That sounds all like airy-fairy, but guess what? When you break it down at the end of the day, feeling loved and loving feels pretty damn good. A lot better than, wow, I made a lot of money today, but I feel like shit.
What would you? I know what I would do. What would you do if the shit shit just hits the fan? Like, we got to get out of a large city. You can't, like, let's just say right now you're in LA. LA's just going down. Like, where would you?
That's
what
pretty
would be
much
ideal?
That's pretty much my hope.
Yeah.
Well, what I would do is find somewhere in squat land.
Yeah.
That's how I'd start, and try to find people who have land. I mean, if people are losing their homes, losing their land, there could just be such incredible chaos. Or, I mean, who's going to be policing anything?
Yeah.
So right now, I have no right in most of the world to just go somewhere and live simply on land and raise my own food and not bother anybody and make as many of my things by hand or barter as I can. None of that is okay. If that becomes okay in a world of the future, whatever, that's exactly what I'll be doing.
That's what I hope for.
Perfect.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
The trespassing signs don't mean shit anymore.
Oh yeah, they do. I'll pound it into a shield thing out of it. I can also cook on. Maybe that's what it meant in the Bible when they said they'll beat their swords into plowshares and there will be war no more, you know?
Yeah. I think I would load my kids up in this truck and we'd just go community surfing throughout all the United States.
Well, when you say shit falls apart, you know, I mean, my experience of communities in pretty much any human endeavor has been people are never prepared for the worst.
Yeah.
They seem to just sort of live on the top and like, well, we don't really talk about that. And we've experienced that at communities.
Yeah.
We're like, so if we move to this community, simple question, if something happened to you, you died in a plane crash or you got cancer or whatever, what happens to everybody else? And most people were like, I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
How could you never really think about it?
That's what I get a lot of questions and stuff of like, well, we don't know what to do. I've only got 30 days of supply and then we're homeless. Like, well, yeah, don't beat yourself up. But this time around, say you're going to live the lifestyle like we are, or very minimalistic, essentialist like you, you know, down to a backpack, save the fucking money and plan that, hey, this shit could happen again.
Then again, start practicing. I mean, that's why, I don't know if this is going to be broadcast, that's why my hair is cut super duper short. I tried I shaved my head 2 years ago, but tried to grow it out because I thought, it'll just be easier to throw it back in a braid. Nah, this is the easiest because I don't even need soap.
Shit, you told me about that. I was introducing my show, like it says, warning, the show contains adult content. Well, there's the nudity, guys. There's the adult content.
Whatever. But no, seriously, I keep my hair short as part of this whole thing because then, like when I lived in the desert, water, I learned how to make like a gallon of water go so far. It was crazy. I washed my body and my hair in it, then I washed my clothes in it, and then I either watered plants with it or even I washed my hair and my body, then my clothes, then my car.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not talking about a perfect job on the car, and the water was pretty dirty by then, but I was living in the desert, everything was full of fine sand, everything took care of it. And parked the car where the water would run into the plant, so you make each move count. And the thing is, when you have this respect for resources, that is another reason why we've gotten into this situation, lack of respect of resources, petroleum and petroleum products, byproducts and whatnot, like water.
Turn on the
lack
tap
of respect
and let the water flow.
Yeah. The lack of respect for water alone is just insane.
I don't know. I'm freaked the fuck out because there's just so many people who don't even know the difference between a potato and tomato if they're growing in the ground, you know?
Right.
And we've just become so desensitized from everything that I'm looking going, man, this is going to take some work. This may hurt really, really bad, but I think it's so simple it's already ingrained in our genetics and our souls that like you can remember really fast. I think most of it's there. It's just a little tuning up.
Well, one good practice I've learned recently in the yogic trip I've been taking is good place to begin is sit next to something alive, hopefully a tree in an open area, a park or something. If not, break it down to just a house plant.
Yeah.
But look at the house plant. Every time you exhale, feel that it's inhaling your byproduct. Carbon dioxide is its oxygen. Every time you inhale, you're inhaling its oxygen, and you're feeding it your carbon dioxide. So there's this cycle going on. So look at the whole earth and the world that way, of this cyclical life, and then you'll realize that, as it was put, that half of your lungs are hanging outside off a tree. And you'll start to gain a respect and a connection to nature. If you start there, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
If you can't quiet your mind, just turn the water on a tap, just dripping, and just stare at those drops until you stop noticing them. If you can't do that, which when I was a massage therapist, what I would tell people is get a wind chime, or even a recording of a wind chime or ocean waves or something, and what you'll see is your brain. I'm saying this is the busy brain that just doesn't want to shut up.
Yeah.
Try to find the pattern. Try really hard. Take your brain and try to find the pattern in wind chimes or in ocean waves, anything like that, a thunderstorm. And what will happen is your brain will get so tired because the fact that there is no pattern, it's all random, that it'll collapse and it'll just go, can't do it. And people that would do that, because I worked in North Hollywood as a massage therapist. These people work for, all kinds of, Mauschwitz, as they so lovingly call Disney and everything, the animators. These people were high end in the entertainment industry, which is nothing more than true incarceration. But they would just be so disappointed. They'd look at me like, I'm so sorry, I couldn't find the pattern. And I'm like, perfect. Now shut up and relax. So those are small ways you just start to quiet your mind. But every time, what always helped me is every time you think about what you no longer do or have, think about what you can do or have in its replacement. And think about how wonderful it is that this is an opportunity to experience something you've never experienced before. Even if you have a car, like even when I had a car, even when I had kids and I had a car, I'd still take a wagon and walk to the store every day to get some exercise, get out of the house without spending a bunch of money, and just get enough groceries for that meal that night, and then walk again the next day. It doesn't cost you anything, doesn't hurt anything, it helps. And you start noticing flowers and birds and, different things. And, it might sound stupid to someone else, but I'm telling you what, you start doing that and you'll start watching your expenses go down and your, connection to your world going up.
You're getting healthier and saving money.
So basically what I'm saying is, if you're saying, I don't have time to do that, bullshit. I call shenanigans. Because, there is. If you really want to, it's that important to you, you'll figure it out.
I would say I would defend people who say that they don't have time because these lifestyles, but I'm like, why? If you look at it, you're actually robbing yourself.
Oh yeah, you could say you don't have time. Then shut up and just bite the bullet and deal with what your life is. Then there's nothing. Nobody else can change that for you.
Yeah.
So if your health is going out, you're not enjoying your life, and you're scared shitless about what might happen, then only you know what that means to you. And all I have to say is I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. You can do anything if you want to. Will it be comfortable? Good chance not at all.
A lot of stuff's not comfortable. We were just talking about the other day. You're lucky because you're healthy, whatever. Yeah, that you love to exercise. Nobody wakes up and goes, I love to go,
I'd go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning and get an hour of cardio and an hour of weights and everything else. So I can go to school for massage therapy and then go work late at night. Choices and decisions.
I think it's time for people to not man up, not woman up, not cowboy up. It's time to human up. You're gonna have to.
Yeah.
The dish it's being served, but I think it's some goodness.
Well, another thing about it is the way we were going pre-COVID, and none of us know what post-COVID looks like, if there is even going to be such a thing. Only meaning that other viruses or whatever. But we couldn't continue to go the way we were going. If not for ourselves, for future generations. We were burning shit up. We were just burning, like I'd heard somewhere, at the rate we were burning everything up, and we still are, definitely not out of any kind of woods at all, but at the rate we were going, we'd need 2 or 3 more planets like ours. So for future generations and things, and you think you're suffering, imagine them when we've destroyed, all the water is not even drinkable, and there's no land to be enjoyed, and everybody is in industrial living, which it could happen too, but if not for yourself, for the future generations, stop being so selfish and thinking that you're it.
Yeah.
Knock it off.
Knock it off. Oh, I feel like that was a good one there. Is there anything else you feel like we need to cover?
No, I mean, God, it would be really awesome to be live like right now, or people can call in, or send in messages and questions. That would be cool.
Yeah, the YouTube thing, they're fucking with me. I guess some people were telling me the only thing I can do live on is Facebook, but
yeah,
I don't think we got enough people on.
Oh yeah, it's just that would be nice, is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
and it might come to that at some point, or even if people in comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and smash that notification so you get a bell. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Just in case any of you guys don't know, I'm his ma.
Oh yeah.
I'm Stanya.
This is the illustrious, the famous, the
best ma you ever met.
All right, that's a show.
That's a show for show.
See you guys later.